Hello, in this video we're going to look at activity 18 from the BrightSparks 4kids guide. We're going to set up a circuit to look at the voltage across a bulb, and we're going to use a multimeter to do this. Now first of all, I'm going to set up the circuit. We're going to use 4 cell and cell holders. So here we are. You can see the circuit symbol. We have our black negative terminal and our red positive terminal. Now in previous videos I've shown you how to wire these cells in series, and that's what we're going to do now. So first of all, I have a black lead in the negative terminal of our first cell. We put a red lead into the red terminal, the positive terminal of the first cell, and that goes into the black negative terminal of our second cell. Put a lead into the positive terminal, the red terminal of our second cell, into the black negative terminal of our third cell. We put a lead here into the red positive terminal of our third cell into the black negative terminal of our fourth cell, and finally a lead into our red positive terminal of our fourth cell. So now we have our bank of cells altogether. 1.5 volts, another 1.5 volts, that's 3 volts, another 1.5 volts, that's 4.5 volts, and another 1.5 volts, that's 6 volts. So potentially we have a 6 volt supply to our circuit. Next I'm going to use a bulb and a bulb holder here, and we can see the circuit symbol. We can see that we've got 2 yellow terminals here, so it doesn't matter which way round we wire our bulb. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to connect this so that we can see that our circuit is working, and you can see here that our bulb is glowing nicely and bright. I'm going to disconnect that for a moment. Now we're going to have a look at our multimeter. So in theory, using our 4 1.5 volt batteries, we should have a 6 volt supply, and we can test this using a voltmeter. Normally in a school environment, a digital voltmeter would have a rating of 20 volts, and what we're going to do, we're going to set our multimeter for exactly the same range. So here we are, and you can see that it's rather complicated. We have lots of scales around our dial for us to use for our multimeter, but for this activity we're only going to use the volts DC, if you can see that here, and we're going to use the 20 volt setting, so that it would be the equivalent of a common digital voltmeter that we'd find in a school environment. You can see that we've got 3 sockets across the bottom. When we use the multimeter, we always put one lead into the COM socket here, and because we are measuring volts, you can see here we've got volts, ohms and milliamps on this socket here. So we're going to put a lead in here. So I'm going to put a black lead into COM, and that, when we wire a voltmeter into a circuit, you always put it in parallel to the component that you're testing, always. It's very important that you do that. So we're going to put that lead from the COM socket to this terminal of the bulb that we've used from the negative terminal of our cell bank here. Next, I'm going to connect our lead from the positive terminal of our cell, and then I'm going to connect the lead. I'm going to put it into the volts, ohms and milliamp socket that I have here. Your multimeter might be slightly different, but you need to look out for the volts symbol. So it'll be a large capital V, and we're going to put that in parallel here with our lead from the positive terminal of our cell bank. So now we should be ready to see what our output is. I'm going to move our dial. So you can see here that we actually have, in my setup, we actually have 5 volts from our 4 batteries. Now this could be because I've been using the same batteries in previous activities. So it's a good way to test how well your batteries or your cells are operating at the moment. So this would be how you use a multimeter to test the voltage across a component, in this case our bulb.